What's up, everybody? It's your boy Ryan, and this is the Thunder Channel on nootropics. So I want to talk about an energy and a functional nootropic stack. It's a stack that I relied on for probably about 2 years or so once I formulated it and found out that it just worked well for me. If I cycle it correctly, it works every time. I want to kind of get into what the strategy is behind these kind of stacks, because we talk about these kind of stacks a lot and then give you my individual stack. In the meantime, guys, as you see in the top right corner, Nootropics God class launching uber soon. Done writing, now filming, then editing, then launching. It's basically the decade plus mark of using nootropics. All the hacks that we really don't talk about in detail on this channel, like receptor hacks and transporter hacks, just keeping stacks consistent, advanced high-level echelon productivity induced by nootropics. There's a lot of really great content in the Nootropics God class. Get on the email list for that at livecortex.com. On the homepage, like a little mat will pop up, put your email in, we'll let you know when it launches. In the meantime, everything is still 40% off livecortex.com. That is the Cortex stack. Look, powerful pre-made stack, uber cheap. It comes out to 19 bucks a bottle. We've never had it at 19 bucks a bottle. Usually retails at 32. Coupon code is 40. livecortex.com takes it 40% off. Also 40% off is Nootropics Ground Zero video course for people that are brand new to nootropics. Look, if you're new, you have to just start with that video course. Lays the framework, lays the groundwork, gets you some good stacks, teaches you how to use nootropics. Lastly, also 40% off the Nootropics Masterclass. A little more advanced for people that are in 2-3 years but really want to ascend to the 6-year mark. Nootropics Masterclass, a video course, is 40% off at livecortex.com. Also wanted to mention that a couple slots opened up for both 3.5 month and 6 month larger scale nootropics and biohacking consulting programs. So get on those at livecortex.com. When they're open, they do not stay open very long. So any of you that are thinking of doing it, like if I can save you 400 bucks or something on it, please let me know. I'd like to get you in because the schedule will fill up in probably about a week. Okay, so I want to talk about an energy and functional stack that I rely on. Energy stacks are great. They give you the push to start powering through work. But what they don't offer, like a racetam would, is increases in processing, right? Like energy and the ability or the will to want to do work doesn't necessarily help you when you're doing certain types of work to be able to compartmentalize the information effectively. I was discussing recently in a video that we did that I'm doing like data entry right now, which I really hate, but racetams and particularly like heavy cholinergic compounds that are used correctly allow me to both be more interested in doing that kind of work, and then it makes it a lot better. So I need the energy to get started on it and then the processing to endure through it. So like oftentimes you'll see in my suggestions like things like modafinil as your base, and sometimes people just take modafinil, it's like that's all they need. But for me, like you've got modafinil and then another compound like PRL or something to make the state that I'm in more functional in terms of computing power and memory. So this stack that I've relied on for just about 2 years for getting baseline up to par, and then just infusing a tad bit of functionality into the stack. And if I cycle it correctly, again, it works every time. I'm gonna put it on the screen for you guys so that you can see, and then we'll just kind of talk about the individual components of this stack. I'm just going to take the title and replace it with this stack. Hopefully it comes out okay. Okay, that came out just fine. Hey, Max, say hi to everybody. My cat's like, I want to be on film, man. Every time I'm up here, he's just like, perfect time to go bother my dad. Okay, so it's 100 milligrams of dynamine, 40 of theobromine. This is very important because that stuff can stimulate you to high hell if you don't dose it correctly, especially in conjunction with another stimulant compound like dynamine. So I can only really dose 40 milligrams of it if I'm stacking it with other things. 10 milligrams vinpocetine. This is important because vinpocetine is like not a noticeable nootropic. It's a bit like ALA for me at least, in that it just makes my brain a tad more clearer. And I feel like when I'm engaging in the process of thinking, it's a little easier. It's just lighter. My brain is a little lighter on its feet via brain oxygen and blood flow optimizations. That's its primary mode of action. 100 milligrams of tyrosine. These days, I mean, I can stand higher doses of tyrosine, but only in short stints. Like I couldn't take high doses of tyrosine 4 times a week. I wouldn't suggest doing that anyway because it starts to get me a little anxious, but that dose works great. 15 milligrams of coliracetam, that is the cholinergic computing power infusion element added into the stack. And then around that time, I just don't take a choline source with it. I just eat eggs that morning, and that works. Side note, I'm working with a guy, and this might be interesting to you folks, because I don't know if it's the case for me, but it seems to work, is that if you respond negatively to choline sources, especially even at low doses, you can eat eggs a half hour before your stack, and then bringing a racetam or otherwise cholinergic stack that'll use up some choline. And you shouldn't run into any negative side effects, but you'll still have the choline in place to deal with the extra usage of it via the cholinergic racetam. That is a client of mine named Erhan. Erhan, if you're watching, hey, look, that strategy seems to work for not just you, but that's what I do. So this stack basically just wakes me up. It's usually an hour or so after I had coffee or caffeine. So I'm like, I'm awake and I'm kind of ready to go, but this is just sort of that extra thing that pushes me over that level. It gives me light brain function, meaning like the stimulation's there, but there's no gunk in between my thoughts. If I just want to process something, it's easier. You know that feeling when you're using certain nootropics that just like processing is sort of effortless? Everything moves a lot quicker. It's like you're awake more. Stuff is firing at higher levels. Again, the vinpocetine just adds that little element of sort of that same thing of being light on your feet in terms of brain function and things moving a little quicker. I also like the feeling of having more brain blood flow and oxygen. That's what vinpocetine does. Again, 100 milligrams of tyrosine, not a whole lot. Perfect in conjunction with the other wakefulness or stimulating compounds. This is also another important point of like stack methodology. If you're going to have a bunch of different stimulant stuff, just dose them all low. They stack well together and get the right compounds in. The coliracetam for me is that extra bit of computing power. So now I've got energy, I want to get into stuff, and then I've got the ability to like compartmentalize things and process data better. Right? And that makes it both more interesting and more fun, which is what the topic of a video that we recently did about why nootropics are just so interesting. 5 reasons nootropics are interesting. It's the last video, you should watch it. And eggs around the time. What I do is just eat 2 or 3 eggs a half hour before I'm going to take the stack. That's enough choline for this stack. It's not a lot of coliracetam burning up choline or making it more efficient really, but it's just enough to prevent ice pick headaches or any of the side effects that come with racetams, which I do get if I don't get the choline source and the choline infusion correct, okay? So very, very simple stack, pretty much a low dose stack. For about 3 hours, I'll have the background energy and then I'll have the functionality to execute tasks. And that's one of the most important takeaways that I want you guys to get. That's why I always hammer it home. Build stacks that have multiple facets of them. You know, energy sometimes just isn't enough. You can get going, but maybe you're not focused because you're too energized, or maybe your computing power is the same, but you just feel wired. And that doesn't necessarily translate to productivity. Have something functional in there to improve processing power while you've got the energy in. And this is just one of my tested stacks. Hope that makes sense. Thanks so much for watching, guys. Remember, Nootropics God class coming out soon. Look out for that. Get on the email list, livecortex.com, when the pop-up pops up. Meantime, everything is 40% off, livecortex.com. That is the Cortex stack. Look, take 2 capsules, turn your brain on. World-tested nootropic. Ships to 37 countries at this point. People just love the stack and respond really well to it, most folks. 40% off, coupon code 40, livecortex.com. Nootropics Ground Zero, also 40% off, coupon code 40, and the Nootropics Masterclass as well, 40% off, livecortex.com, coupon code 40. Guys, remember, a couple slots just opened up for some of the bigger consults, so if you're thinking about doing them, including the 1 year, I don't know if you can see that in the background, we actually just did a 1-year consult. For those of you that just renew every 6 months, just do a year, you'll save about $1,000. All of these slots are open with the exception of the 1-month consults, but they fill very quickly, especially when big companies come and hire me, which they do, to consult their executives. So get on those. If you need to save a couple $100 to help you make the decision, just email me, Ryan at livecortex.com, and we'll get it done. We got to fill the schedule before it fills, and I want to give some of you guys a chance that are thinking about doing it. Just pull the trigger. Do that at livecortex.com or email me. Thank you so much for watching, everybody. Talk to you next time.